But when we keep looking to what's next and not finding the now, we get lost in the illusion of time. And that's precisely how it is. That's how I used to think. Like look forward, have a goal, or search, or pursue. And the more we look to anything outside the now, the moment, the more we lock ourselves in the misconception of reality. And the misconception of reality is the notion of time, space, and the self, the I. So I would like this 2 hours is I would like, let's put it this way, this new mind is activated, and I'll tell you what the new mind is, and consciousness is present. Meaning that when I'm speaking or hearing or interacting or seeing or feeling, whatever it is, sense perception I'm getting, the observer is present and is observing it without judgment. See, I'm sure to all of you probably that is something that's said as well. Do you understand what it means, Jacob? Okay, so you're familiar. Okay, and what does that do is, we've been through this many weeks of talking about being the portal. The new mind, the purpose of the new mind is to be the eye of God, so to speak, a clear eye of God with 20/20 vision. That's what it is because consciousness, when it is obstacled, is this a word? When it is obscured, that's the word I'm looking for. When it is obscured by the notion of time, when it's obscured by the notion of I, the self, or you, or the ego, or beliefs, or pursuits, or whatever it is, then the vision of this I, which is the mind. So the mind is like an eye or a lens, like this lens, so it's obscured. And what transcends to God, in terms of if God is looking onto the world of form through our mind, the vision, God's vision is obscured. Consciousness's vision, consciousness's awareness of what is obscured by the clutter in our minds. So when I say when a person, as I am now in the state of consciousness, meaning my brain is talking, is receiving light and sounds or whatever it is, and it's analyzing also, and it's translating, and it's giving back an input. Aside of all of this mechanism, there is consciousness present, meaning it's observing this brain and everything else that this brain is sensing without judgment, but is fully aware and has no judgment. So as if there is two entities in there. There's the brain that's doing all of this, and there's the observer that's sitting back with a pina colada, like you say, and just looking at everything, and everything is perfect. No matter who says what, even if this brain makes mistakes and says something wrong, or reacts, or whatever it is all instrumentalized. This brain is instrumentalized by through the portal of the new mind that is just observing. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You're just the movie goer.
Right.
Everything else that happens,
right.
Not good or bad, you just watch it.
Right. So so this is your mind, the lens, and what's projected on the screen is the reality that you sense, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you do. And the one behind the lens is consciousness that is coming through the lens, and at the same time it sees what it's coming to be. It's experiencing itself through the lens. So that's how it is. So based on that, any questions or comments?
So the ego has got itself plastered across the lens. And
Right.
You can't see.
so we see.
And your ego is becoming, or the ego in that mind, in the conventional mind, is becoming more transparent with some people. So if the ego is sticking here, trying to block the light to come through the lens, it's like covering everything. That ego in people that are becoming more conscious beings, or the new mind is developing, the ego is becoming more transparent until it becomes completely transparent and just dissipates. And then the light will zoom through as one and not be scattered as the word of separatism. So, hi Sandy.
Hi.
So, what's there to talk about?
2 hours of consciousness, which was the theme of today's meeting, correct?
Right.
How do you function in the world, knowing what you know? How do you, and this is going to sound a little weird, but how do you go on living amongst the other people, knowing what you know, when so few of them relate? Exactly. Least of all the ones you work with, at least in my case. How, and I'm in the process of upheaving, shifting, changing jobs, all that. But I guess this is part of finding your niche, is being here. But I don't think this is going to sound also weird, because I don't make money here.
Right.
I mean,
But it's not even only the people who work with, I mean, my own daughter.
oh, well,
But
forget
she is coming around a little bit. Before she used to think that I listened to strange stuff. Now she says, Mom, I wish I understood this. I mean, she'll let me tell her things and then she'll say, I wish I understood this better. So that's kind of nice. She's started to at least be interested. And no medical complaints.
Oh, good. Very good.
Well, I'm lucky in that my mother is actually, was a guide and has now become a peer in this journey for me. A lot of the stuff that she's been through, I've been through, we parallel almost, and it's kind of bizarre. And I guess that's not so much my worry about family, because I've at least got her. She anchors me on that side. And from there, my sister gets it somewhat, so I have family stuff sorted out. For me, it's like just...
But for the people that you work with, you just be who you are and they will, I mean, if you're not judging them, they will see how you are and eventually they're going to say, what is it that you know that we don't know? You know, just be who you are.
How are you feeling right this moment?
I feel really good. I feel really good.
And what are your thoughts about being here in this moment?
My thoughts about being here in this moment are that my thoughts are at work. I am a officer in the Marine Corps, and as tough as it is in the real world to be this way, in the Marine Corps, they put, not only are you dealing with your own ego, but you're dealing with the ego that they build for you. So you have almost like two egos, and then, I mean, throw on any amount of egos for people that you work with and for. And they're all just trying to impress their ideas and their values on top of the ideas that the Marine Corps gave you, on top of your own idea. It's just, and then now to have this, and to have to work in that environment. I have peace, but at the same time it can be just disturbing to watch them all just mash their foreheads against the wall every day, just repeatedly and willfully. And there are some I've actually tried to have conversations with and explained, and try to direct them to help where they need it, because a lot of them try to cope in pretty unhealthy ways. But a lot of my views, I know, as good as they are, I think in that environment, that organization serves a purpose. And I think spreading my views too much in that organization, as much as I want to, might do more harm than good, because again, that organization is there for a reason, and I'm not there to proselytize or preach, but I will do what I can to help those who need it. But at the same time, my values and the organization's values were just like, at this point, could be more opposite, which is pretty bizarre.
Right.
Which I guess is the reason I made the life choice, because they weren't diametrically opposed when I did join, which is why I joined. I thought they were my views, and then I had the violent reaction, the inside violent reaction when I started realizing our views did not match up. And then when I finally came to terms with it, it was like, okay, so now what do I do then? I've got somewhat of a way forward, but I mean, that's kind of talking myself out on that.
Right. That's how we live our lives, is thinking of the future and how we can change ourselves, how we can change others, and look at the past and then think of the future. And we live 99.9% of our lives anywhere but the present moment. And any change that will happen will emerge only in the present moment. And the more we are distracted by the notion of time, future and past, the less our mind is available for the moment, which is the womb of change, where change happens. I want to see if we can be here and now. And anything that needs to change can only change in the here and now, right this instant. Whether you want to change your environment or you want to develop your own state of mind, which changes on its own. And it only changes on its own in the moment. So when you say, I want to change, and I want to do, and I'm pursuing, and I'm trying to find myself, I've seen a few YouTube videos where philosophers sit and tell people, go find yourself. They're using those verbs that refers to the future. Go find yourself. You need to. It's all like that out there.
Not all.
Sorry, from what I've seen. From what I've seen. If you want to find yourself, just be in the moment. There's nothing such as find yourself. You are already.
And there's nothing to find.
There's nothing to find. And there is no one to find whatever needs to be found.
There's nothing to do.
Because what who wants to find is the brain. And the brain is already just a projection. Like you're looking at a screen and you're seeing two actors on the screen. And you're telling the actor, go catch him or go find your gold. They're not going to do anything about it. And that's exactly how our brain is. When your brain is telling itself, when the ego is telling another part of the brain, I want to, or go find yourself, or it's just you're talking, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. It's like you're talking to characters on the screen, to light. And that defeats the concept of that there is an I, independent, that I do things on my own, that I can pursue, that I can accomplish and achieve. That's what keeps us stuck in the box of the comfort zone. We call it the comfort zone. So, like you said, you read books and you've watched documentaries and things like that. And okay, you feel better. You expanded your comfort zone, and you feel good about yourself because your ego changed masks. So it changed the mask from me being a military personnel to being now more of a spiritualist. So I feel better about myself because now I'm finding purpose, a bigger purpose for me, because I am not here on earth to serve the Marines or the military, make money, then retire, and then die. I know there is a deeper purpose for me than that. So my deeper purpose must be a spiritual purpose. And now I found it because I read some books and they're telling me that this is my purpose. That your purpose is to be a spiritual soul, to find yourself. There is no I, therefore there is no purpose for the I. There is no I have a purpose. This is a bunch of programming, genetics and conditioning that the brain puts together to give rise to something called self-identity, the ego. It's just all patterns of slides of movies. You know, you see slide after slide after slide in the movie, but it looks like a continuum. And it looks, oh, that's me running there. That's me doing this. You can see the image of you there. You say, that's me doing all this, and I need to do this, I need to do this. It's all an illusion, a mental concept. The I is a mental misconcept. So, okay, so what to do? To do nothing. So how do you spend your time? What are you doing now?
The brain came up with a quote this week. It said, the ego isn't taking credit for anything, therefore nothing is happening.
That's right. There are no action verbs. The word happening doesn't belong in truth. Is. That this is all there is.
I was doing a workshop with people in Kona on Friday, and in this workshop, I've been doing this for a while, and at the end it says something about continue to dream, and then when I said it out loud, I was like, why am I telling them to do this? Like, it was like continue to dream, and I was like, I don't mean you have to have goals, and then it just sort of like, I realized I was in this whole other place, I was like, oh, I might have to take that out of my workshop now. I don't want you to dream for anything. There's nothing to dream about. It was just really like, yeah. And I didn't catch it until I was doing it.
Impulsive.
In the moment, I was like, dream, what?
Right. I was having a conversation this morning with Mom and Gary about evolution. And we're going back and forth with ideas whether, creationism is how things are in the realm of form, or is it evolution? And then Gary grabbed some ice cream and he's eating the ice cream, and he said, it doesn't really matter if there is evolution or not. I'm enjoying the ice cream right now. My mom gets confused and she goes, what? What has evolution got to do with ice cream? What are you talking about? But that remark on its own is an entire philosophy.
Because it's just beliefs. Because you don't know, so you believe this or you believe that. Doesn't matter.
In the past, too.
Yeah.
Right. You want to share with us what you meant by enjoying ice cream?
So I guess that's what occurred to me, is that it actually does affect what we believe or think. Doesn't really affect what we feel right now. For example, someone who is we all have the same feelings, so if we get our feelings hurt by someone else, we all probably react the same way, no matter what we believe or what we think. So people are the same, basically.
Right. Yeah. That's the philosophy behind it. Is what we experience, what the brain experiences in the moment, and what the observer observes the brain experiencing in the moment already is. There's no belief. Doesn't matter what you believe in or what you wrap that experience with. So you experience something in the moment, and then you wrap it with a belief or with a concept or with thoughts. What I'm experiencing is this, your mental interpretation, your program conditioned interpretation of your present experience. But whether you wrap that gift with wrapping paper or not, it's not going to change the gift, the present. You have a present. You can wrap it with anything you want. Is it going to change the present? It's just like a gift. What's that sign for?
Well, he had said something about, in that moment you were feeling. So if you're going to, one thing I learned about is empathy. Empathy is not judgment, analysis, diagnosis, just thinking about what to say next, It's really being empathetically connected with the person in the moment, whatever he's feeling. It's not even sympathy. Sympathy is when you go, oh, poor John, you're feeling so sad. But empathy is just being with the person in that moment. And don't even have to understand it. It's just being with the feeling. Because when you realize if the person is feeling safe, he's feeling angry, it just is. But I tend to take it a little step further, that behind the feeling in that moment, there is an answer from the beloved divine, in that the feelings show us that there's an unmet need. And an unmet need is universal. It's like you want love, peace, joy, happiness, you want to contribute to the other person, you want safety, you want to feel, all these things that are really great to have in you. So then you connect with that too. It's like, you're feeling angry or you're feeling frustrated because you want to contribute to your fellow military friends. And then in that moment, if you're able to even get in touch with your own feelings and realize, yeah, I do, then you have that what we call aha moment. Yeah. And then you have a total peace. But it takes it from that moment of just empathy with yourself. This is what you need, self-empathy. When you say, yeah, I was feeling really frustrated, because I could see them thinking that way, and I could see that they were really not happy with themselves, as I was wanting to, because you could only take care of yourself in that picture. I was wanting to contribute to those other guys that are coming to me because they sensed maybe I had something. But in that moment of just being with their feelings and even maybe communicating, sounds like you really, buddy, what's up? You know what's going on, and then helping them to get in touch with their moment of feeling, and then helping them to just find out through that moment of feeling that unmet need, so they can have an aha moment where divine can take over. Does that make sense?
It does.
That all sounds like ego to me too, though, because I don't know. I think all of these things we use to define ourselves, like evolution or what's the other one? Creationism. I mean, it's just to validate our idea that we have a scientific mind or that we're a religious person. All of those things don't really matter, and it's just like people who want to explore past lives. It always feels to me like they're looking to a past life to blame for whatever situation they're in this life, because then they'll say, well, it's karma from that life that did this to me now. And I mean, if you just are in the moment, none of it matters, right? I mean, absolutely none of that matters. It's all just beliefs and thoughts.
If you're at peace, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters if you're at peace, right?
Even if you're not at peace, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's true, but what you're saying, I understand about wanting to help others and that. I mean, it's come out that. It's come out that.
But the idea is being, if you're going to be when somebody opens up to you, it's married, and they're exposing their feelings to you, all you can do is be with them. It's not to judge them or analyze them, give them answers. It's just being with them, but realizing that behind the feeling, there is the divine. And it can be, it's connect, but it's nothing we can do.
But aren't you in that moment that you're being with them, aren't you saying, I acknowledge an I in you?
No. If
Well, then
he's
who's
telling
having the
me,
feelings?
he is. So if he.
That's
if
what I'm
he-
saying, so
if
you're saying, I see an I in you.
If
And
it's
I'm
okay,
gonna be
This
with that I.
this experience.
If he's
There is-
telling, what's his name?
Jake.
Jay, tell it to me now. You were saying you were feeling frustrated?
I'm feeling frustrated, like I'm in
Yes.
purgatory,
Yes.
neither heaven nor hell, just stuck.
Yeah.
Having had such an aha moment,
Mm-hmm.
to feel like I've shaken off the chains, as it
Yeah.
were, but then to still be in the same job, to still
Yeah.
have to do the same things. It, again, yes, I am acknowledging I feel almost robbed of the catharsis. And I had the catharsis, I feel like a new person, but I have the same job. And a job is whatever importance I assign to it. I understand that, but it is where I spend most of my time. That's just the fact. And in the very narrow lane I am given in that job, that there's only, there are things I can do, and there are a lot of things I can't do, and I'm not allowed to do. And that, I know, I control my own happiness. I get that.
But nothing will change until you accept where you are. If you just, it doesn't, you can't control it happening, but as your brain starts to accept where you are may change. But the whole thing is right
The
now to
resistance.
just accept. And just say, okay, I accept that I'm not in a perfect situation, but this is where I am. And so I'm just going to accept this the way that it is. There was a time in my life when I was in a job that I really hated, and so I changed all my passwords to things like, I love my job, I really did, and I know I was
Yeah.
playing with my brain, but I did all these things, and it was just a very short, and each time I typed it, I thought about it, and it was a very short time before I left that job and went to one that I liked a lot better. And, but it did also keep me conscious to accept. And I was playing games with my brain, I know that, but it did make me more aware of accepting where I was. And that's all you can do is accept.
And who's to say that the people surrounding you aren't enlightened? It's almost a judgment saying, oh, because I'm in this label of a job, Marines or whatever,
Right.
there can't be any other enlightened individuals amongst.
It's a generalization.
'Cause you are.
It's right.
And you're in the Marines.
And I think if you find when you start resisting it less, you're gonna start noticing different people around you, and they're gonna come. The whole experience is gonna change for you in the Marine, whether in the Marines, whether you quit your job and become a maid or whatever. Because it's
Law
not
of
about the
attraction.
job. It really isn't. It's about your state of mind. So if you're in a state of acceptance, just